Good night and welcome to Mindful Live 415. Yeah, boy, the time just flying. It is currently the 22nd of the 7th month in the year of our Lord 2024. That 7th month being July, the glorious beginning of Java, July-August vacation. Now, when I consider that for the young people, July nearly finished. This is nearly halfway through the July-August vacation already. Tough. Good night, Willie Bang. Present. Word up. Cardell says make law-abiding citizens reach to work late. Fact. Because we're talking about the day of total policing. Now, that's a word that harkens back to a long gone time when Gen Z children were still in diapers and the police were actually let me just say the police were protesting because I think their union, which is not a union, a whole bag of technical nonsense goes on all around the place, because I believe police, because of their essential status, they're technically not allowed to unionize and have those, those labor activities kind of thing, because they're that kind of essential. But all they do, they don't have a union. They have the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Social and Welfare Organizing. Is it social and welfare what? What's the word? Organization? Which functions just like a union, but it's not a union, It's not a union because we can't unionize what we did. But yes, during the time they were attempting to negotiate some salaries and they didn't like how the negotiations were going, so the police did a day of total policing where they gridlocked the country all around with procedural roadblocks. And it seems like they had a reminiscence of that on Thursday gone last week, where they had another day of total policing. The police were out in their numbers all around. I was saying before we jumped in on YouTube here that I was on the road, bright. Well, not that early. If I was very early, I'd have missed all those roadblocks. You ever notice many of those roadblocks are around that 8:39 time? It's not 5:30. The officers aren't getting up 5:30 to start the roadblock. So those of us who usually go to work early, we'll miss all that bacchanal, but I was a little late. Running up the highway, northbound, reach Charleville, traffic reaches that gridlock. I'm like, no, somebody run off the road. This has to be an accident happened here. That's the only thing that causes this kind of sudden madness. Someone in the vehicle got a message, police roadblock everywhere. As I said, I'm not a criminal. I had no contraband on me. But I avoided all roadblocks like the plague. Listen, I'm not a public servant. My salary isn't automatic, just drop in the account at the end of the month. It works like you work like, and that's how you get it. If you don't reach to do the thing that you need to do, you don't get the money for doing it. So, the road is already traffic gridlocked on a given day. You're going to come prime time in the morning to lock up the roads even more. Listen, I know I have no gun and drugs on me. You're trying to tell me I have to take 2 hours in traffic to reach to you to tell you I have no gun and drugs on me, and then for a licensed officer to comb through my vehicle, look for bubbles in my tint to give me a ticket. That doesn't sound like a good morning to me, That doesn't sound like a good plan to me, so I avoided it. And you know what's it's marvelous to me. It is marvelous to me that when police in Trinidad and Tobago, the senior officers in Trinidad and Tobago, when they talk, one of the things you regularly hear the police complain about, the main issue. What is the main issue facing the police service in Trinidad and Tobago? Trust. Building trust with the general public. So, if the main issue that Trinidad and Tobago Police Service faces is building trust with the general public, I would assume that just about everything the police does would be in line with building that trust. But then Canute says getting a park light ticket in daytime fact. But then last week, we had 2 women officers struggling to arrest a man in Citygate, ask a Maximan for help. Maximan say, I want to mind my business, please and thanks. And they say, no, minding your own business is illegal. How dare you drink water and mind your business while we ask you to mind our business for us? How much does police get if they get killed in the line of duty? Is it $1 million or something like that? I find if you want to put that law, make it that if something happens to me, I have an insurance too. How you asking me to do your dangerous work? You have gun, you have bulletproof vests, you have a gang of officers willing to come and take vengeance on if something happens to you, and I am supposed to go do your job? Speaking of, I saw just before I jumped on here, a police officer was shot in his chest in Port of Spain. The gang war is going insane. But no, fear not, people, fear not. That gang war is done. That gang war is done. Didn't you know last week, Thursday, they locked up the road at 8 a.m. in the morning? They lock up the road at 8 a.m. on a Thursday morning last week. So that means all the gangs done this week. All you didn't know that? And to me, this headline itself, so wait, they try to make you out for a ticket for picking up somebody? La, that is nastiness. That is nastiness. It's nastiness, really and truly it is. It's nastiness. Listen to this headline and tell me if the headline itself doesn't sound preposterous. Cops start crime fight back with rush hour roadblocks. Let's reread that headline and tell me how this headline sounds to you. Cops start crime fight back with rush hour roadblocks. Which criminals move at rush hour? Rush hour is bedtime for criminals. They have a late night to run. They're not up at 9 in the morning. What are they doing at 9 in the morning? What does a criminal do at 9 in the morning? If I am a criminal, what do I have to do out there at 9 in the morning? What do the criminals do? Good evening, sir. Which criminal is out there 9 in the morning criminaling? Can someone explain that? I mean, okay, fine. There might be the white collar criminals. All those tax frauds and people who looking to rob your salary and the con men in their jobs and jackets and ties and suits and stuff. The whole parliament and the crooks inside there. All of them moving at 9 in the morning. But we know the roadblocks don't actually stop those kind of crooks. They're looking for the down, dirty, hands-on crooks. You know, the blue collar crooks they're looking for out there. Those dirty hand criminals. Which dirty hand criminal moving at 9 and 10 in the morning? To do what? Sit down in traffic too? You think criminals like traffic in the stolen cars? Cops start crime fight back with rush hour roadblocks. And that was last week. Hines defends valuable police roadblocks. Of course he does. Minister of National Security Fitzgerald Hines today defended police roadblocks and exercises, stating that such activities were very, very valuable in the business of fighting crime. Speaking at a news conference earlier today, Hines said the government had been listening to the population's suggestions and pleas for a way to deal with rising crime levels across the country in recent times. He said he was surprised by criticism over recent police exercises which caused traffic jams at most major intersections throughout Trinidad. You know, this is the part that kind of offends me. The PNM does this all the time. They annoy me. And I understand how revolutionaries, I love you, I understand how revolutionaries get that kind of violent thinking when they hear the elites. They kind of let them eat bread kind of tone, where they're so distant from the plight of the regular commuters, from the regular citizens, that they're shocked and surprised when they're criticized for obvious things that shock and surprise no one else. Like the Tobago police chief. The Tobago police chief, every week, he's worried and wondering, shocked, how come we have regular citizens selling out our roadblocks and telling people when we're doing why would these citizens do this? Because they don't want to pay $1,000 tickets. As a millennial, I am in my full right to use this. Duh. That's kind of obvious. Duh. Like, Mr. Hines, you're shocked that working people are upset that they don't get to do their jobs. Mr. Hines, how much of your day was delayed by that activity? How much of your salary was lost? How much of your salary was lost? I'm sure not a cent. Your salary is still at whatever good level it is at, whether the police lock down the nation for a whole day or not. But to many workers out there, the daily paid workers, yes, who are at the low levels, but that also works for the entrepreneurs and the business people. Yes, you could watch the business people like, yeah, them real rich and them have real money. But if the businessman doesn't get his container to his business place in time to restock, that is money lost. But you don't have that problem. So, you're shocked and surprised that the citizens would have a problem. How could they have a problem with this? Don't they have entourages that, just move the traffic for them? How are they surprised by this? Nonsense. Poppycock. Poppycock might actually be a word that Mr. Hines might say. Members of the public felt that the only activity that the police were pursuing and responding to the crime were the roadblocks. I mean, that was really amusing to me because I'm aware that that was just one of the approaches, the police strategy to push back the criminals, he said. The roadblocks was just a part of the plan. And here's the thing. I could see roadblocks being part of a plan, I just don't see how it's part of the plan in that way. If you tell me you do a raid on gang hotspots at X o'clock and at X05 you set up roadblocks all around all exits of gang hotspot so that anyone leaving with whatever they might be trying to escape with, that's the people. Okay, well, there's a strategy to that. But how are you going to tell me you're going to set up a roadblock at 3:30, this is something I saw in Mount Hope, right before the roundabout to turn off to go into Mount Hope Hospital. Right before the 4 o'clock visiting hours in Mount Hope Hospital, you set up a roadblock right at the entrance. Who do you expect to catch? And the roadblock didn't have police officers in tactical wear with army men in bulletproof vests like they were looking for those violent criminals. No, the roadblock had police, in their normal grey annoying suit and licensed officers in their crooked white, in their bribery white. That's who the roadblock had. So you tell me what you think that roadblock was there for. You're telling me as a police service that is interested in building up trust with the populace, with the population. What you do is aim to ticket people going to visit sick family members in the hospital. Abu says what the government has to do to reduce the crime, the population won't accept it. Well, here's the thing, Abu, to me. The government is not reducing the crime, and the population doesn't want to accept that either. The population doesn't want to accept the high crime. You know that, right? And what the government is doing now, that seems to encourage the high crime, the roadblocks and all that nonsense. The population doesn't want to accept that either. Come tell the people hello. Tell the people good night.
Good night.
Yeah? You good? Ready to go now? You're not ready to go here. You're staying. You're staying here. The best thing to do in Trinidad, Kwan says, is leave. No. Well, Kwan, leave and go where, bro? In the US, they're shooting presidents, and the brain dead one is being called a hero now for leaving, while everyone knew he was brain dead for years and pretended like he wasn't. So I don't know where we're going. The United Kingdom just went over to the far left. I don't know if that's your flavor, but it ain't mine. Where else? France is in very, very frictious times. Those Norwegian countries where they're white mostly, they're slowly moving over to the right side of anti-immigration. So I really don't know where we're gonna go. Africa, no thanks. I am a Trinidad. If I go Africa, I belong nowhere in Africa, really and truly. If I go Africa, I may be a settler colonist. I could be considered a settler colonist in Africa. Yeah. Abu Friday. I think London has more robberies than Trinidad. Fact. In Canada, no thanks. Mr. Trudeau, he could stay right there. The police spoke about many. No, Rani, I did not see that in Canada. I'm not surprised, but that's disgusting. They were speaking about how many guns they recovered. Between July 14th and July 21st, 263 persons had been arrested, while 15 firearms, at least 3 AR-15s, 604 rounds of ammunition, 4,441 grams of marijuana, and 513 grams of cocaine had been seized. 1,269 fixed penalty notices had been issued and 4,235 stop and search forms filled out in this period, the police said. Yes, Kwan, we know. I know that. Trinidad does have one of the highest crime rates in the world, but that's not general crime also. That's violent crime, in particular murder. But yes, that's true. I know. But I'd like Kwan to say which one he thinks is so much better. Which one of those would he like to go to? Certain parts of London, Kwan, certain parts of London would be very safe, and they would have dangerous areas too. But here's my problem with the police and quoting these numbers. Here's the interesting thing. The roadblock happened on the 18th. But when they're quoting here about the success of their activities, they quote a time range from July 14th to July 22nd. I would like to know how many guns they seized during the roadblocks. Don't tell me that some raid you went on in some block, you pulled up and seized the whole stash, and then you did it the day before the roadblock, so now you're calling it as the roadblock too. Don't do me that. Let's not be dishonest here.
No.
Let's not be dishonest. What was done in the roadblock? Let's separate that. Let's separate that bit, the roadblock bit. What was done in the roadblock? How many guns? Roadblocks are just for show right now. Seems so to me. And for show for what? For show of what? To show of a show of force. And as I said, as I started off saying, if the police in Trinidad say the main issue is trust with the population, shouldn't they be doing things to raise that trust with the population? Here's an observation I made recently. Every police car I pass on the road, the driver is not wearing a seatbelt and is on the phone. When I mean on the phone, I don't even mean like this. I mean the picture of a driver of a police vehicle is this. Everyone, I was with someone today driving around and I showed it to them. Every police vehicle you see, look at the driver. See if you see a seatbelt on and look to see if they're on their phone. Always. And here's what I noticed from this. The police in Trinidad and Tobago do not have a service-oriented vibe. They have a vibe of an exclusive gang and group that you aren't a member of. The police come to observe an area. The windows are up. The tint is pitch black. The AC is so cold it starts to condense on the outside. You could walk up to it and draw a heart in the condensation. Who knows what they're doing on the inside there? If you're in an emergency, you have to run up to knock on the glass. Officer, officer, officer. And you know what they're going to do? Wham, slowly wind down the window and peep at you. Wham. Because they are at that level and you are at this level. Kwan, I like what you said there, overseers. Exactly. Kanyut says you don't wear seatbelt with a firearm in your waist, just saying. But why would you drive with a firearm in your waist? I would have thought procedure could allow you to remove the firearm from your waist. If you tell me that seatbelts are so important that you are willing to ticket me for hundreds and thousands of dollars for me not wearing it, I would have thought that, what is it to, those holsters are clipped on, you just click. But I mean, I guess yes. The gun makes it hard. But they would ticket a pregnant woman if they see her without a seatbelt. Oh, Torres Lafugard says not true because many security personnel get tickets for not wearing a seatbelt. Oh no, you see the problem, Torres. You see, you don't understand. Police officers and their unique training for active situations makes it a different kind of gun and feel when they wear the seatbelt. It's just different. It's different. Kwan says they do with the overview of safety, but they do not care about the safety of citizens. I think protocol is that it has to be on them 24/7. An officer was shot tonight, I believe, in the West. They said in Port of Spain. And when the firearm issue is raised, they said, police says it's no excuse. Did we have free health care? We claim a police service, but we paying a police force. Yeah. And Fat Man went to court and won that. A lot of BS. The public is to be blamed. Blamed for what? I saw what looked like an obvious PNM supporter basically talking about that it's not the government, it's not the police, it's the people. It's the people. And you know what annoys me? Those same people would have never noticed that 2010 to 2015. 2010 to 2015, all the crime It's the government, that dirty UNC and them. All of a sudden, after 2015, you have to understand the nuance of society and social issues and the stigmas and traumas involving some of the at-risk communities. And it's about parenting and going into those communities. You can't blame the government and the police. That police will. How do you want to build trust in a police service and all your officers roll around in air-conditioned vehicles? Like, I think old TV shows showed how old police forces, old police services, built that trust. You all remember Officer Dibbles and TC and the guys? Or am I talking beyond your ages here? Officer Dibbles was a beat cop. He knew the people on the block. And the idea was that TC and the boys were actually block fellas, TC and the boys were stray cats liming on the block. And they would harass Officer Dibbles. But he would understand and relate to them. But you know what? They tell me, Mr. Hines tells me that the roadblocks were very, very valuable. They were important, extremely important. But from the 18th, let's look at violent crime that popped up on the 8th, from the 18th. And I running across to this Instagram page. The Instagram pages these days seem to be more on top of the local news than many of the news stations. From the 18th, this was after the lockdown of all the nation's roads that got rid of all the criminals. On the 19th, a boy was shot, 15-year-old, shot in Port of Spain. Double homicide in Laventille. A killing in Arima. Kidnapping of the doctor. Home invasion in Spring Village. Three elderly persons tied up 6 men in their house. Milky shot in Rio Claro and 2 others injured. 1 man murdered in Carnage and another injured. A man stabbed to death in Tabaquite. A woman beaten to death in San Fernando. A nude body found riddled with bullets in San Juan. Human skeleton found in Morva. Barataria man shot. Police constable shot. I find the South don't have crime not anymore. Well, crime isn't only murders, eh? Do you know that anything above class 4 aren't required to wear seatbelt? Yes. Borough police getting paid more than TTVS right now. Think about that. And it come not too long ago got shot while on patrol. Yep, I heard that. All of these shootings Something like 10 nearly did I call there? More than 10? That was all since Thursday. The full police roadblock, blocking everywhere. Yet still, murders all around. The audio from Port of Spain is like a war zone. Home invasions are on the high in South. Fact, Antonio. Let's look at this one, because it's not just the violent crimes. The murders might not be there in Central and South, but the home invasions certainly are. People are advantaging them. Candlelight vigil to pay tribute to Carsonfield murder victim. Carsonfield residents and other concerned citizens gathered in large numbers on Friday to honor the memory of Christopher Christian, a beloved community member tragically murdered on July 8th. The community lined the streets after dark, lighting candles and offering prayers for Christian's father, Matthew, 66, who remains in critical condition at the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex. I don't know if this article doesn't have the total, but I think it's something like upwards of 22 dozen home invasions in Carsonfield in a farming community for the year. Fire Flame says, remember, Miss Ela said it's not the guns, because without them the people would use cutlass. South know how to organize crime better, it seems, Militant Rockstar says. Or they're not interested in the same kinds of crime that the people up north are interested in. White Leather says, and you can't refuse if police call on you for assistance, otherwise 10,000 charge. They would use just cutlass, but guns make it a lot more convenient. Yes, crime isn't about the guns, crime is about crime. But the guns are a sign of the criminality, the all-around criminality. The reason there are guns is because there are criminals on the ports and in our protective services. So the guns are a sign of the criminality all around. The guns are just a symptom of the same thing. In a statement, Caroni Central MP Arnold Ram has called for better and easier access to firearm users' licenses for farmers and fishermen. And they keep repeating this call. Allow the people to be able to defend themselves. And you would see the result. Bandit killed during Charleville home invasion. One bandit is dead and another injured after a Charleville homeowner shot them during a home invasion. The homeowner lives on the first floor of the property at Caroni Savannah Road and rents the ground floor of his home to two businesses. He was awakened around 3:10 a.m. on July 22nd when 5 men climbed the wall and entered the house through a window. The man drew his licensed gun and confronted the men, firing several shots at them. One bandit was shot and killed. Another was injured but managed to escape. The other bandits jumped onto a nearby roof and ran down the street and escaped to a waiting car park near the Solomon Hochoy Highway. I am very curious to know where those bandits live. Fireflame says, even with an FUL, you're still at a disadvantage. Men coming with 5.56 and up. That's not true. Yes, a 5.56 rifle is more dangerous generally than a pistol. Yes. One, some people have FULs for more than just pistols. Just by the way, didn't our former National Security Minister give up his fancy AR? Anyway, that was his private one. Anyway, but home advantage is massive. Home advantage is massive. In many cases, a man with a 2x4 might beat a gunman in his own home if he's courageous, you know. A gun in your own home, the bandit doesn't necessarily know when you're going to confront him. Here's the frustrating part when someone is unarmed with those home invasions. Many of those home invasions, the homeowners know. They see the bandits, they hear the commotion outside, but what they're gonna do? The dog's back. Okay, you one dog back, you hear "Arr!" and they kill your dog. What next? What you going to do? You call the police, they even answer. They tell them, come down and make a report after it finish. close quarters, correct, militant rockstar. But if you have a weapon, generally home advantage does it. This is one man, and it was 5 home invaders. So unless your bedroom walls strong like retaining walls. I don't know what you think bandits are, Fire Flame. You think bandits came to do a gangland killing? You think bandits are going to come and just riddle your house with 5.56 just for the kicks of it? That's not how it works. Basically, every homeowner shooting goes the same way. Armed bandits enter a home. The homeowner shoots, hits maybe 1, maybe 2. All of them run. They never try to do Rambo style. Well, I am actually a Black Ops officer. I am going to, lean on the wall here, roll over to your kitchen table, duck under your settee, and dive over your recliner to try and shoot you. No. From the time they hear pow, pow, and they hear the brethren ball, disappear. That's what happens. That's what happens. Not that they turn around and tie up their Rambo hat to start shooting. That doesn't. Have you ever heard a home invasion go like that? There are many home invasions where the bandits are shot. It's becoming more and more common. Torres, don't let the people know. Let them find out if they want to come. Exactly, Luke. If they're acting like that, then they came to kill you in the first place. This was not a robbery. This was an assassination. And then we're talking about a whole different ball game. Fact, Torres, fact. Don't let them know. Real G's move in silence. Lasagna. Well, Fire Flame, then that's another thing. I would hope that, generally speaking, the protection against assassination is not doing things that make you an assassination target by and large. That's how you're protected from assassination. Is not something that is extremely easy to avoid. I mean, look at Donald Trump. One little flick of the head away from blowing his brains out. And he is a former president with protection. So an assassination, really and truly, protection isn't for when John Wick comes for you with his team. John Wick coming for you with his team, it's an assassination. That's how it goes. Kim Oliver says, this is not endorsing this statement. Mindful Live and Nathan Springer and co-host, no, I am the host. The real host does not endorse this statement. But Kim Oliver says, it's time to get a hut. And the first one dead, the story is you get advantage over him and it's his hut. That is the police story. You're stealing a page out the police book there. Kanye says assassins do come to your home just like that. Easier to be out when you don't expect it. True. Sheldon says how we know what's going on and the police don't know. Who says they don't? So that feels Simpson's prophecy was a gimmick to ensure his win. I endorse Kim. I think you mean Kamala. Kamala. I do not endorse her. Trump. No, Kamala jailing black men for decades, keeping them in prison extra time for slave labor for California, while she claims her heritage as the first Indian representative, jails them for marijuana, and then laughs about it. And then laughs about it in interviews. I don't know how that's going to work out for them over there. That's the story. And police friend is the secret, Abu Friday. Once you have the police friend at the right level, nothing goes on. That done one time. Yeah, Ronnie, it is very sad. But it's not surprising because Trinis aren't very aware of that. This is what I say, and I mean, who knows about all the details around the situation? I don't. But just the tone of this story I'm going to get into here is to me what I hope and envision for policing. Just the way it works. Claxton Bay man charged with stealing over 100,000 goods from a house. A man is expected to face a San Fernando magistrate on July 22nd, charged with breaking a woman's house and stealing all of that. He broke in on July 17th. The victim locked her house. He broke in, stole a lot of things, speaker, tools, drill, jewelry, over 100,000 in goods. The police used CCTV footage that shows the man removing it. After a report was made to the St. Margaret's police station, Corporal Modest, PC Mia, and WPC Ransom began investigating. Later in the day, the suspect was seen near Union Recreation Community Center, and the officers led by Senior Superintendent Sudin stopped and searched him. He was carrying a bag that contained the 2 stolen laptops. They arrested and took him to the police station. Over the weekend, PC Mia charged the suspect with housebreaking and larceny. Here's what I mean. Police, local police, beat police, the police that are familiar with communities, they are aware of the troublemakers. Like, to me, one of the big problems with the camera footage business in Trinidad is then what? Okay, you saw them steal the thing, then what? What's that going to accomplish? But if you have police officers, I mean, we're already at this stage where the public doesn't want to help the police. So no, you're not looking for the public to identify these people. A police officer supposed to know, by that Brigo boy, hey, that is King boy, hey, that is Sick boy, hey, that is so and so boy, hey, that is XYZ boy, that is... The officer should know. From the time it comes up on a CCTV somewhere, we know where to find that guy. Because almost all of these criminals aren't men doing this fully incognito and have hidden double lives where they wake up 5 in the morning and actually go to a good job and maintain a family, and they only do these robberies on in the hidden secret dark times. No, these men are word up, Dino. These men are oftentimes life criminals. They are known. Bro, Abu Friday, you didn't see they try to kill Trumpy? What you trying to put me in? They attend the Banditry College of Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, so these men are known. They are known. And yes, that is community policing, but one can wish. In 98, my dad's car got stolen outside Windsor. The police went straight by a man in Wallerfield and got it. They know. They know. Many of the times, if the police are serious about it, they know. Let's jump over to some US politics there. Rowley hails bold Biden, endorses move to step back. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has described as historic, bold, and courageous yesterday's announcement by United States President Joe Biden that he was withdrawing from the country's November 2024 presidential election. The PM addressed Biden's decision in a post on the Office of the Prime Minister's Facebook page yesterday. Biden has endorsed his Vice President Kamala Harris in his stead at the upcoming polls, with Harris having already received public support from former Presidents Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. It is very historic, bold, and courageous decision coming from a man who would do anything for his country. I wish him a long and healthy retirement, Rowley stated. How Rowley know he would do anything for his country? I don't know how many of us here follow how much US politics. What annoys me about this Biden story is since 2020, there was heaping amounts of proof that Uncle Brain wasn't 100. People were saying this since then. And all of those surrounding him lied about it. And here's what annoys me even with Dr. Rowley. Because many of the foreign world leaders would have met this man and seen that this man is obviously, going off to pasture. And they would have been part of the lie and hiding. A bit he was like that before he won. If you remember the 20 but I mean I am a news junkie, so I was I am a news junkie, so I was paying attention to a lot of that. They accused Biden of hiding in his basement. Axios, a well-known online publication, wrote a story. Biden, please stay alive. All we need is your corporeal form. In other words, they were saying all we need is your corpse. Just stay alive, Biden. They knew that he wasn't. The only reason that, up till a week before the debates, everyone was out there. This is a brilliant man. He's sharp as a tack. He is a true leader and all of this rubbish. The only reason all of that changed was because after the debate, it could not have been hidden anymore. The media did a great job hiding it for years. Like, I don't know how many of you all understand or see a lot of American politics through the years, but it's a strange thing for the president not to be addressing the media at all. He never addressed the media. He had all of his press secretaries alone do it. He would never go out there. That's a strange thing. And the media went along with it and hid it for 4 years. But when it looked like, nah, this man is going to lose, when it looked like this man is for sure going to lose, then all of a sudden everyone jumps out like, no, he should step down, he should step. And he still didn't step down. Yes. And he still didn't step down. They had to beg the man, drag him out kicking and screaming, cut off donations, get everyone to bawl in his ears to finally get him to separate. And now you're going to tell me this is bold and courageous? Give me a ease up now, man. Give me a ease up. The Kamala Harris replacement is going to be very interesting, though. Seeing how that all works out. Think you'll end up with Hillary. You mean Hillary? That woman will bomb the world. That woman will bomb the world. You know something that, I said this the last time, I always find strange with outsiders watching into American politics. A set of outsiders always want US to spend more money. They want to choose the side that wants to spend more money and give more goodies to their citizens. As an outsider watching the US have the world in a stranglehold economically, you're supposed to want the people that want to spend the least. That's your vested interest as an outsider to those people. Like Trini's worried about Trump, while he's the man saying he wants to pull back the US military from everywhere in the world. Like, bro, even if what they were talking about is racism and whether he likes who he likes in the US, that is the US business. And you could go and be racist in your own country here, but stay out of everybody's business. Sounds like a good deal to me. Why would I, as a foreigner, want the people that have as their ideology we must interfere everywhere in the world? Why would I want those people in power? Like, bro, no. Take the orange man. Take the orange man. And you all mind your business. I'm cool with that. Trump will stimulate economy. It seemed like he did it last time. I guess we'd see. One of those interesting things I've been seeing on X, and you know X is formerly Twitter, is the home for all things crazy in the politics and ideological landscape. I've been seeing there are black people out there. Well, guess he will get to finish his wall. So, I hope he does. Good luck to him for that. Like, why would that bother me? Again, Trini's out there bothered by another country building a wall. Why would that harass you? That's like if a neighbor 3 streets away is putting up a wall because he don't like people walking through yard. All you feel my yard is a thoroughfare. I do all the walk in my yard. And he put up a wall. Like, okay, brother, you do your thing. That's your place. Wall your place. Like, it dumbfounds me. I see Trinis who went to school with me. You live in Trinidad for the first 18 years of your life, gone over in the people place for 1, 2, 3 years, become a citizen somehow, and then all of a sudden you're like, no, they are supposed to let in the whole world. Like, bro, that sounds very strange to me. And as a Trini, I don't like that either, because I don't want the whole world to be let into Trinidad either. I know Abu Friday, I know everybody going down Mexico and crossing, Chinese crossing in the Grups. It's insane. It's insane. And I'm sorry, I have zero interest in sneaking into somebody's country like that. Into the United. Like, I find that so low. That's so low. And it's so shamefully ironic that many of the people who are hustling, scraping, lying, cheating to sneaking, scraping and hide are the same people who ask them who are the ones who spell America with 3 K's. You know those kinds? America. You know America is white supremacist, that is the world Satan, and you lining up to go and live in Satan. Like, give me an ease up now, man. Give me an ease up. Give me an ease up. So, such a strange thing. Very, very strange. But as it stands right now in the US, there's some difficulty in that election. That election, I think, is going to be a bit spicy because the Democrat Party is losing its hold slowly on black men. But black women are the very backbone of the Democrat Party. That's an interesting little something there. And then Kamala Harris jumps in. They're trying to sell her as a black woman, but she sold herself as an Indian before. She's actually only quarter African. Her father is, I believe, a half black Jamaican, and her mother is an Indian, from India. But she's black for political purposes. But on the black men side, the black male side, she was a prosecutor who jailed a lot of black men. And black men were already starting to get a little Trumpy. It's a strange thing. Just sympathetic and caring. And she was jailing men from her side. An interesting thing. And you could wonder what the reason for it is. Go Google an electoral map like in the United States if men alone voted. Not by race or anything, men alone, by gender. And the strange thing is, if you look at the electoral map in the US, by married women alone, not even women in general, married women, once the same side win. The conservatives win everything if men alone vote. They win the vast majority if married women alone vote. The Democrats win by single unmarried women for the most part. And well, LGBTQ also. It's interesting. Why the divide stacks up like that? That's another side to that issue that I hear people talking about. I mean, people say that that's the way it's supposed to work. If he doesn't work, if his mind isn't working, then they are supposed to try to push him out. And I understand that. But he won a primary. Remember how the electoral system works is that the way we have internal elections, they have primary elections. So the party holds an internal election to select who is going to be the candidate. That way, the people vote for the candidate that even goes up as a candidate. Democracy all the way down. But now you're telling me that the people voted for someone. He won. And then the donors and power brokers in the party decided he was unfit and undid the democratic vote of the people. From the home of democracy that wants to share democracy with the world, that does not seem very democratic to me. So they're going to have a felon for a president, but a felon can't get federal jobs. One, he could pardon himself. And felons could run for president though. It's the nature of the job. And I mean, it wouldn't be the first in the world. Nelson Mandela was a felon, just by the way. So, the felon side, I'm not too sure. This is America. Have a blessed night, y'all. Word up, J Lion. On that note, I think I'm calling it a night there too, looking to head into bed. Debate was his main undoing. Yes, it was. The Democrats who should hold the House and Senate have data that showed Biden would have cost them. Of course he'd have cost them. And that's the problem that many of them stated. The down ticket votes, because they vote not only for the president at that time, but many different positions will be voted for on that same ballot. So if the president is brain dead and people aren't going to vote for him, what is going to happen to the other people that are on the ballot also waiting to be voted for from the same party? The chances are if less people vote for the leader, less people will vote for all the people under him. So he could have costed other politicians their seats and their races. That's why they wanted him out too. All who play division looking on in anticipation. Yeah. This is going to be an interesting season. It's going to be an interesting season. But Kamala isn't, a wordsmith. She's no Barack Obama in terms of her speaking. So Kamala may not win, but might be a better bet than Biden in holding other seats. I kind of agree with that. I still think he would win too. Barring any shenanigans, but I think he would win. It seems like that. And won't that be a story? The movie of President Trump's is going to be fantastic. It's going to be fantastic. That will be quite something. Like, how is all of this not a TV show? How are we living this in reality? You're telling me there isn't a script writer out there and we aren't on like season 10 coming into the last episode somewhere there? Might get my visa cancelled, but oh well. I doubt it. Like, people say ridiculous, foolish, unfounded things sometimes. They'll say, Mr. Trump is anti-immigration, while he stands next to his wife who speaks English in a thick accent. Like, what? How is that anti-immigration? How does that work? The guy he selected as his vice president has an Indian wife too. Like, what are you talking about? What? How is he anti-immigration? Like, and it's such a political game when I look at all of this. The way one side would say we don't want illegal immigration, and the next side would say, you see, they hate all migrants. Like, but But that's not what is being said. I mean, if you want people to be able to cross without the law obstructing them, well, make that argument. Make that argument, but how do you mean you're going to say that migrants and illegal migrants are the same thing? They really are not. They really are not. It's like in Trinidad, do we have a problem with legal Cuban doctor coming to the hospital and doing some work? No, by all means, you go ahead, señorita, by all means, doctor. But that's not the same as a pirogue full of people coming over from South America, coming through to Icacas in the middle of the morning. That's not the same thing. Impeached 2 times, can you say trigger? Charged with something like 700 and something charges, counts they had against him. There was an obvious legal attempt to take him down. After the legal attempts failed, someone literally tried to take him down. Like, bro, how is that not a movie? He says what his supporters want to see. Alright, people, that's all I have for now. I'll see you guys again for the next Mindful Live, which is going to be around tomorrow, around that 9:30 p.m. time. Until then, hold it on, people. It was nice, as always, and it was a pleasure. Wait, let me see if anyone is over there on YouTube. If there are any comments over there before we dive out. Good night to you guys over on YouTube. Kareem Dilpesh says they hardly ever come for any resistance when doing robberies. Correct. Bandits don't look out for resistance when doing robberies. They want it to be as easy and straightforward as possible. Alright, people. I hope you're educated, informed, or entertained. I am Nathan Springer. This has been the Mindful Live, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Until then, stay well, stay good, stay inside, outside, they sketchy. I've been telling Ronnie about this. She isn't here now, but I think last week Friday she was scampering through Scarborough, dodging little pew-pews. Outside sketchy. Stay home. Start a family. Mind your children. Get some chickens. Later, people. Bless. Bye. Peace. Say bye-bye.